Desh moderate of this session, respected Desh and delegates. I'll just share a few points. A lot of things have been discussed in the morning. I am happy that about RUSA, the mention was there that how we are progressing towards a higher education, what needs are met, what we do need to tell, what we need to do. But as you know that education, this is higher education, more to say, this is a key driver so far as development and economy of the nation is concerned. But when we see that what of our graduates, they lack sort of employment opportunities and employment skills, they remain sometimes unemployed, and these masses, where they are after higher education, they come across, they look for new jobs. So this is, of course, a major issue which is directly concerned with the employability of our graduates, and then what we need to do, upscaling employability in higher education, that is our role in while in universities. When we look towards this, that so far as growth of this higher education is concerned over the years, we have seen that higher education in India that has seen unprecedented expansion in last years. In 1947-48, we were just having 20 universities all over the country, and just 496 colleges, total 516. These higher education institutions. But over the years, now when we look at this growth has taken place in the first decade of this century to very high rate, and this is exponential increase in number of institutions has taken place. Now we are having 700 universities, 35,539 colleges, and this is a very big educational system which is operating in the country. But when we see that enrollment of students that has also gone higher, it was just 2 lakh at the time of we got independence, and now we are touching 20 million enrollment. And when we see that 18.8, that's GER, that is of course it's a very good achievements. But apart from this achievement, if you look this, that what type of expansion it is. So taking holistic view that anyone will see that higher education towards which we are moving, it is definitely unplanned, and now it is chaotic also at certain places. This higher education is coming up. Number has increased, of course, of the student is ratio. GER, when we take, that's a read, but we look at this. Infrastructure, it has not been created as long as to the level it was needed. It has not been increased so much. Second is that is the intellectual resources. Those are not present in the university as much as we need to meet these enrollment ratio that has been concerned. We all know that after Sam Paroda gave this National Knowledge Commission gave this recommendation that okay, we have to, from 8 we have to by 12-15, we have to achieve 15% of enrollment ratio. So most of the thirst is on increasing the enrollment ratio. Even that is there, even in RUSA it has been mentioned. But at the same time, we should also know that where we are heading for. Are we our infrastructure increasing? Are we intellectual resources increasing? Or at the same time, are we dwelling more on skill orientation, which is very much needed? We churn more about 2.7 million graduates colleges every year. It results excessive demand in white-collar jobs, which are unavailable for these numbers which are coming out of the university. So this skewed demand and supply situation, that means that graduates, they are focused to accept certain jobs, and they do not meet their aspirations. Ultimately, what comes. So this is growing frustration amongst the graduates. We are coming, and it breeds discontentment about in the graduates we are coming forth. So it is also a fact that job hunting starts after the getting the degrees, not before that. Of course, we are talking so much about technical education, but when you look at general education scenario in our university, the situation comes very clear that educated youth, they are unemployable, and they lack employable sort of skills. And many times it has been seen that even in many cases the employment is there, but these employable graduates, they are certainly not there. When we see this, what are the general employment deficiencies in our graduates? Now, just a point has been made by the previous speaker here that what is employability? Employability is just a job-specific technical skill, but this general level of preparedness and prospective entry or at entry level for the job seeker that is needed. So when we get this feedback, this is generally seen that there is a low level of academic accomplishment in our graduates. That is number one. Then the employment skills, these are attributed to employment rather than technical competencies. That is needed. Employers, they need value generic employability skills in our graduates. So it has been seen that there is a poor attitude of our graduates, lack of confidence. Poorly motivated graduates, they lack goals, what they want to do. Lack of enthusiasm, lack of drive, low level of leadership potential that is there in the graduates, and inappropriate preparedness sometimes for interviews too. There is lack of extracurricular activities. It has diminished in many institutions. More thrust is on this bookish knowledge. That's not sometimes needed. Extracurricular activities has its own impact on total personality of the students. So poor attitudes towards job, and sometimes these graduates, they are of course excessive. They show the interest in job security rather than job requirements, what we need. But actually what we need is a graduate must have some problem solving skills, creativity, innovative thinking, positive attitude, self-confidence, flexible nature, all these of self-discipline. These are the attributes of a graduate which should be inculcated by our higher education system. If we look at this and have certain gap analysis where we are lacking, most of the courses which we are having, that is we are having semester and annual system in most of the institutions. And all these courses, these are mostly conceptual, theoretical testing that is there. So when we see that the only student have to answer few questions, 4 or 5 questions at the end of the semester and at the yearly system, and then get the pass marks or good marks and they pass out. But what is needed? The system is practically incapable of distinguishing among between skilled and not skilled graduates. That is which is needed. So traditional system that is devoid of testing, and there is lacking required type of employable skills and talents in higher education which is rather needed. Then of course there are many things which we do have to consider. Then in gap analysis, when we see that need is of course identifying and devising my employable courses, and then what's more need is maintaining quality system and quality assurance system in all the institutions that should be in practice. Now there are one system that is known as USCM system, accountability. This account for employability. What are the parameters which are required? That is understanding mostly of the subject. It is very much needed of the discipline which is needed. Skill, including key skills, that is important, and efficiency, beliefs of personal qualities, including self-theories of student that must be there. And metacognition is a very, very important at the same time. That is encompassing awareness on the capacity which should be reflected on by the graduates. Now this metacognition subsumes, of course, elements of learning, how to learn. That is very much important. These are all interactive amongst each other and they relate to employability. So this is all needed, and this developing this employability through curriculum, that is of course required. But there is no, of course, not one size fit all model, but different models are there. But very important is that employability, either it should be through whole curriculum, either there should be core curriculum as it was now provided in the RUSA, that it will be a choice-based credit system. You can have major courses, you have minor courses. So in core course curriculum, there should be developed work-based or work-related learning. That is important, that can be taken up. Employability-related modules within the curriculum that can be developed, and work-based, work-related learning in parallel to the curriculum that can also be developed. But in all this, the first system, which is employability through whole curriculum, that is more desirable and more accepted amongst universities. When we focus on this, that what are the requirement skills and how these courses should be modified, then at least half of this, 50%, that should be subject knowledge discipline. And rest of the 50%, out of this, 15% should be, of course, cell competencies related to discipline. And soft skills are also important. General competencies of expression, at least 50% component, it should be included in this. Then inculcation of moral values. That what is diminishing in our institution, but it's also very important for getting jobs. Now, this is hard skill, attitude formation, that is to develop attitude for any practical job that is important, and this can be added through many courses, many university, they are giving add-on courses on this that can be possible. But looking at all this 50% what we are saying is soft skill, that is interpersonal and soft skills. Now, these are, of course, all these public relationship, communication, presentation skill, leadership skills, then teamwork, then creative skills, entrepreneurships, continued learning, that should be emphasized, then information management, listening skills, that should be there. And of course, among this, personal habits, friendliness, optimism, then interpersonal relationship, then social grace, all these are important, and these are all employable attributes, soft skill, which should be in the graduate, that is equally important. So far as this IT and computer proficiency is concerned, the student should be there. But hands-on training and industrial-ready students, that should be produced in our institutions. This can be done through vocational courses, supporting financing and vocational education schemes. There should be modernization of infrastructure for this in the institution, and teacher training. Many other teachers, they don't know how to impart this vocational education. They should be trained in this also. Enhancing the skill delivery, that is very important for teachers, and then counseling, career planning related to infrastructure support, that should be emphasis. But very important at the same time that skill implementation should be gender sensitive, and we should promote women empowerment also, because a lot of women and girls, they are entering into a world of higher education. Developing industrial oriented skill is very important. This what we call it, this LPG system. It has promoted, of course, trigger up industrial expansion, which is now the increased amount of skilled labor that is now visualized by the industry. Many time industry, they are now feeling this, facing this crunch of skilled labor, skilled people. So for this development of employable skills, that is very important. And this doesn't mean that graduates should have all expertise in industry, but they should be industry ready. They should have attitude towards industry. We have to develop attitude for the industry, that is important for this. In this, we can develop this, that is industrial retail work experience. I would like to mention here that Indian Council of Agriculture Research, in all the agricultural university, they have introduced one 6-month course, that is RAWE, Rural Work Agriculture Experience. A student has to spend 6 months at farmer's field. So they develop this farmer attitude among the students. So similarly, joining these students in the industry for 6 months at least, that will help a great lot. And then the industry people, they have to evaluate the students who are attached with them. They get placement also, and industrial ready students can be produced by this. Then interface for this, we have to be very much ready. We should have database with us, what is having where. We should involve industry in curriculum development. All the persons who are in industry, they should be taken on board of studies in the institutions. We should promote a faculty exchange, then conjoint research and development, setting up of monitoring cells, promoting entrepreneurship and problem solving procedures. I will take just 2 examples in a brief, just 2 minutes. I have taken one example from this Maharashtra itself, where National Service Scheme is operating. So this is a joint program, public private partnership. Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, they have introduced it with the help of Tata Institute of Social Sciences Research. It has been introduced in 10 universities and 30 colleges. At the step 1, they are having this, giving this IT literacy, finance literacy, English communication, and other soft skill training. In the second step, they are giving this option choose to domain from these domains like hospitality, then healthcare, agriculture, entrepreneurship, banking. So out of these modules, at the end, after 3 years, they are having graduate degree also, at the same time diploma from TIS. So this 2-degree diploma and degree, those students who come out, they are much more skilled and much more employable than other students. Second success story I have taken from this place. When I was Vice Chancellor to the Maharana Pratap University of Agriculture Technology, there I introduced this program for 3 years. It is, of course, it is given in the 7th semester to a student. This is experiential learning and hands-on training. It was started with BTech, Dairy Development, Dairy Technology and their technology and food technology. So in this, what we did was that the objective was, this was for 1 semester, 7th semester, this hands-on training, this was imparted to the students. Objective was, of course, to develop dairy and food technology skills to enhance employability in graduates. This duration was for 6 months. And approach was end-to-end. End-to-end means right from procurement, processing, packaging, and marketing by the students itself. So this was operated from 2008 to 2009 to 2012, 2030 for 3 years. And at the end, whatever the results were there, that the placement before the introduction of this experiential courses, from average placement, that was 63% from 5 to 8. But from 2008 to 2010, when we took this average placement, it went to 85%. Similarly, in food tech program, the placement that was before this, it was just 62%. And after the introduction of this experiential and hands-on training, which were given to the students for 1 semester, the placement rate that went to 92%. So these are all the interventions which I wanted to discuss to make our student more employable. We need to certain capsule courses. We need to develop a course curriculum. We need to how to embed this employability factor into course curriculum and then give it hands-on training and make our student industry ready. Thank you very much.